Yo. What's going on, everybody? Sunday fun day, baby. I know the vibes, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes, sir. I had to throw a little Halloween theme in there. Y'all know. You know, just keep it simple. How's everybody's weekend? How is everybody's weekend? How was everybody's weekend? You know, had to put a little Halloween theme in there. What's up, Greg? Rim, Jaden, Paris, Pedro, Drew, Edmund, Sarah. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. We have a huge week ahead. Huge. Very, very, very excited, guys. Very excited. We're going to break everything down tonight. I'm going to give everybody another minute or so to join. We'll go ahead and rock out. But yeah, we have a massive week ahead, and I'm going to cover it with you guys tonight, man. Tonight's going to be awesome. Matthew, Luis, what's up, man? Edward, Ken, Britt, how y'all doing tonight? Daniel, what's good, man? Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Man, Anthony in here, what's good, brother? What's good, man? How was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's weekend? Alrighty, you guys, let's go ahead and kick it off. Is background, I have my fan on. I can cut it off if need be. Just let me know. Is it loud? I'll cut it off. No problem. If the fan's loud, just put a 1. I'll go ahead and cut it off right now. I know sometimes some people can hear it, some people can't, some people, you know. And don't forget, guys, on YouTube, you can go to the settings and turn the quality up to 1440, right? 60 frames per second HD, so you guys can watch it in crystal clear. Just go to the settings and make sure you turn up that quality, alright? Let's go ahead and get started here, but before, okay, it's loud, I'll turn it off right now. Alright, let me go ahead and cut that off. Now, that's my fan. The other fan I can't cut off, though, unfortunately. That's my loud-ass computer, so hopefully you guys can deal with that. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, as always, let's go ahead and check out this economic calendar for the week ahead. Have a pretty crazy week in terms of economic data, which we're about to hop into right now. First things first. Let's get into it here. We're at the end of the month, going into a new month here. Where are we at? The 29th, 30th. Tomorrow is the 30th. Okay, here we go. So, this week, starting with Monday, 30th. Monday, we're good to go. Nothing going on here. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Chill day on Monday. Now, Tuesday, this is when the fun begins. We have PMI, which is at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with consumer confidence, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, this is Tuesday, right? Wednesday, it continues. We have ISM and PMI, 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with JOLTS, which is also at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The most important here is going to be FOMC, right? My highlights is in big red. We have the announcement, which is going to be at 2 p.m. The actual speech is going to be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? So the big day this week is going to be Wednesday. This is going to be the big day this week. We have FOMC, right? 2 p.m., the data comes out, the release. 2:30 p.m., J-Powell bumps his gums, all right? So this is going to be the big day this week. Thursday, right? It continues. We have jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with factory orders at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, we have ISM, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Now, let's break it down in terms of influence. What is the most important this week, right? So, Monday, I would give these two together probably a solid 6 out of 10, right? So, if they're both on the same page, meaning both good or both bad, it can cause some influx in price action, right? Now this is Wednesday. PMI and ISM, I would give that the same, about a solid 6 out of 10 here. Jolts, I give it a solid 5 out of 10. FOMC, I'll give it a 10 out of 10, right? This is the one that can move the market the most, right? But lately, they've been duds, right? They've been duds, man. We used to see $10, $15 moves back to back to back on FOMC days, but recently, they've been whack, right? They've been whack. But in terms of influence, FOMC is like big as it gets, right? We have the data release at 2 p.m., and then we have J. Powell talking at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Influence, I'll give it a 10 out of 10, right? This is the big focus of the week. This has the power to move the market for more than one day. This can set the sentiment moving forward. But yeah, this is the biggest here. This is the biggest. Now, jobless claims and factory orders, I'll give that a solid 6 out of 10 this week in terms of influence. Then Friday, I'll give this a solid 4 out of 10, right? So the big focus point this week is going to be FOMC, which is Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Speech is at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? We have pretty much data Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? We got a jam-packed week here. Now, what I want to go over is the earnings lineup for this week. We have a pretty stacked earnings lineup as well, which is pretty big, right? So let's go ahead and check this out as well. I'm going to go ahead and move this up here. Standard Time, speech, right? Sorry for the echo. This is our earnings lineup, right? It's a pretty crazy one, to be honest, which I'm very excited about. I want to talk about the most important here that I really like, right? First things first, I'm going to highlight it in green, which is going to be Apple. Whoops, excuse me here. So we have Apple, which is the focus here, right? Apple is the big focus. This has the power as well to move the whole market. Apple is the focus in terms of earnings. But there are quite a few that I like as well, right? I love AMD. AMD is a big one we could trade. PayPal, I absolutely love. Roku, absolutely love. QComm's one we can watch. Airbnb. Shopify is a fun one to trade. Now, I want to talk why all these earnings are very important, right? Apple's important for the market, but every single one of these other companies are important as well. The reason they're important is because me personally, right, one of my favorite setups to trade and my highest probability setups to trade is post-earning setups, right? We get those big first-day moves. We take the second-day breakout, second-day breakdown, second-day balance, reject. We have a high probability setup, right? We have a nice direction based off the earnings move. We have volume behind it. All the factors are there for us to put size on, and that's where the monies are made, right? On setups like this, where we have an A+ setup based off those factors that I just spoke about, right? And there's some other names that are like runners-up that I'm watching. That's going to be Etsy. I am going to keep an eye on Etsy. I do want to keep an eye on Crocs. Crocs is a little illiquid, but we have Moderna as well. Moderna's a fun one to trade. What else do we have here? PLTR for the small accounts. We have Caterpillar. This is a fun one to trade. It usually moves pretty well. Pinterest. This is a wild mover also. But it's a pretty stacked week, right? So the way that I look at this, let me break it down to you guys. So the way that I look at this is, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have Starbucks as well. Starbucks is a fun one to trade. So we have pretty much 15 different opportunities here for an A+ setup this week, right? So this is why I love this earnings lineup. It's absolutely stacked. We have name after name after name after name after name reporting that we have potential post-earnings setups, right? Amgen is one. I personally don't trade that. I haven't traded that in a long time, but keep an eye on that one as well. But 15 strong names here we can watch for post-earnings setups. So worst comes to worst, I know we're going to get at least 5, right? So we'll say at least 25-30%, right? Minimum. We're going to get at least 5 A+ high probability setups from these 15 names, which we can take, we can put size on, and that's where the money is made. So I'm very excited for this week. We have that data as potential catalyst. We have all these individual names reporting earnings that we can trade those post-earning setups. Specifically Apple. Apple has a big influence on what the market actually does. QQQ and SPY heavily weighted with Apple, so This is a big one this week. We got a stacked earnings calendar. Very, very excited. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But let's get into the chart, y'all. And if you guys would like to keep this, I'll post this somewhere so you guys can get it as well. But let's get into the chart. Let's get into the chart. As always, we're going to start with ES and Q here. First things first is we have ES. This is the S&P 500. This is the index. It's the futures, right? So first thing I want to point out here is if we go to this monthly time frame, it's starting to get a little ugly here, right? It's starting to get a little ugly, right? Reason being is because we broke that structure that we needed to help, right? So this big 4,200 level we talked about from some time, we broke it, right? Like we officially broke that 4,200 level. So now obviously we have our all-time highs. Now we have a lower high, right? This can be dangerous. This can be very dangerous for the market. It's a little too early to tell, but this can be dangerous. We have a high here. We have a lower high. So if we were to somehow happen to put in a lower high down here, that could be absolutely dangerous for the market, right? Even if we broke this previous structure here at 3,800 or broke that structure here at 4,800 and put in another lower low, that would be dangerous as well. So this chart is pretty wicked right now to the downside in terms of the monthly. It does look like it has some potential to go lower. Same thing with the weekly as well. Weekly is a little bit more defined here. Obviously, we have that high, we have a lower high, we have a lower high, and we are putting in lower lows as well. So it is a little concerning here. This weekly chart is actually trying to flip into the downtrend. So that's something we have to take into account as well after breaking that big 4,200 level. These charts are fairly weak, fairly weak. Yes, give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead and zoom in real quick. Bada bing, boom. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Is that better? Is that better? I tried to zoom in as much as I can for y'all. I know there's a little delay on the messages, so I'll give you guys a second to respond. Is that good? Is that better for you guys? Awesome. That's better. Cool. Alrighty. So, yeah, as you guys can see here, this weekly chart's starting to flip as well. Got those lower highs and lower lows. Daily, pretty dangerous as well, right? And this is what I want to really talk about here. This is huge, right? This is what I really want to focus on here is this daily chart. There's a lot of opportunity here, and there's really two big levels that I want to talk about, right? First one is going to be this 4065, 4070. All right, this is the first level I want to talk about. Number two, I want to talk about this 4,200 level, right? So right now, we're pretty much trading in between a massive demand and a massive supply, right? This is what I want to talk about here. It's 4,200, right? This level right here. Let me make sure this is straight. Boom, there we go. So two big levels here I want to talk about, right? As you guys can see, this was a major resistance, held a support, and then down here we have a major demand that we're approaching right now, right? So we're pretty much in between of this channel. And this is going to create some opportunity. This is going to create some great opportunity. So what I'm going to be watching this week, I'm watching two things, right? I'm going to be watching a push back into this 4,200, 4,210 for a potential reject. And I'm going to be watching this 4050, 4065 for a potential bounce, right? So essentially this little channel that we're in, I'm going to look to trade either direction. Now, if you want to talk about confidence, right? Say for example, we want to be confident in the long side, we have to. There's no question about it, right? In order for us to be extremely confident in the long side, we have to reclaim this 4,200. If we reclaim this 4,200, I'll be more than happy to enter a call swing, right? If we enter this 4,200 level, I think we'll work back up into these highs here at 4,400, right? That would be my long target. Downside, I mean, just look at the chart, right? The chart speaks for itself here. If we get below this 4050 level, next big move is down in here until 3850s, right? You guys can see here, the next big support is down here at 3850, right? So this week, right, let's talk about general targets, right? So I would say reclaim 4,200, 4,400s, right? We'll just say targets here, right? Sorry guys, I'm bad at multitasking. But so this is my thought process this week. This is my game plan, right? So say for example, FOMC is good, Apple earnings is good, everything goes as planned, market gets bullish, right? If we reclaim this 4,200, if we reclaim 4,200, I'll be extremely confident upside into that 4,400 area, right? Now let's say FOMC is bad, Apple earnings are bad, market gets absolutely weak. If we get below this 40.50, I'll be extremely confident shorting the market down into these previous swing lows here at 38.50, right? So these are like my ultimate targets here, right? If we get weak, looking for that push down to the 3900s. If we get strong, looking for that push back up to the 4400s, which is above that 4200 level, right? So this is kind of the sentiment gauge this week. I don't want to go too in depth in terms of actual levels because they're likely going to be invalidated due to all these data and earnings and stuff like that. So this is just a big picture of what I'm watching. I'm also going to break this down on SPY. So for those of you who don't trade ES, just be patient with me. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be watching on ES. Very, very simple. Yeah, I do like that 4100, but that's more of like a day trade type of thing. What I do want to talk about though is, right, if you guys notice something here, this 4065, 4050 I spoke about, it lines up perfectly with the third touch of this trendline support from COVID, right? We have the starting point, we have the connector. The third touch is sitting right here at this confluence with that demand and that trend line. And if we were to draw a retracement from COVID lows to all-time highs, we also have that 236 at 4,200. And if we were to draw a retracement from these 52-week lows to highs, we have the 0.5 retracement sitting right at this 4065. So my main demand I'm watching is going to be this 4050, 4065. As you guys can see here, the first confluence is this big demand. Second confluence is this big uptrend trendline support. Third is this 0.05 Fibonacci retracement, the golden pocket, right? So there's a big confluence at that demand there that I'm going to look to take a bounce at. Someone asked about that 4100 level. Yes, I am watching it, right? So this is more of a day trade, a scalp type of deal. What I'm going to be watching is I'm going to be watching it pull back in this 4100, right? This is pretty much the first area that I'm going to be watching here. So say, for example, tomorrow morning we get weak and pull back into this. I'm going to look for a nice little scalp off that 4100 level for a nice little bounce there. But the game plan remains the same in terms of like the macro scheme of things, right? That's pretty much what I'm watching. But this trend line is crucial, right? I'm not a big trend line trader, but this is absolutely crucial. This is absolutely crucial. Patrick, I got you. So yeah, that's my game plan on ES here. Let's go ahead and hop into NQ. Then we'll get into QQQ and SPY, all right? First things first, right? Let's go to a higher time frame here and check this bad Jimmy out. So let's go to the weekly, let's go to the monthly. Here we go, right? In my opinion, this chart's still strong. Still looks good to me, right? ES is much weaker, but I think that this bull flag is still intact, right? I mean, to me, this still looks good. Do you guys agree? I mean, I think this still looks good. It's still holding that lower trend line. Flag is still in effect. You could even consider this a potential, cup and handle, right? This is everything still intact. Same thing we talked about, what was it, not last week, the week before? Everything's still intact, right? Looks like a nice little cup and handle, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, right? But the main watch here on QQQ is going to be this major demand, right? This is going to be sitting at this 13,500 area. Right, you guys can see here that this is absolutely huge. Previous all-time highs, previous resistance. So we're looking for a pullback at that 13,500 area. I'm going to break this down on the lower time frame just so everybody can see it a little bit better, but that's that big area that we're watching. Right, so now that we're on a lower time frame, you guys can see this a little bit bigger. First things first, right, it's this 13,750, right? This is the big pivot that I'm watching, right? You guys can see here, this was a huge shift in market structure. This was the pivot that sent us down to 52-week lows. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that, right? So let's go ahead and uncover this here and talk about it. First things first, right? I'm going to be watching this 14,000 level, right? I'm going to be watching this 14,000 level, right? Reason being is because we have a big demand here. So if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, let's talk about this real quick. You guys can see that this is a huge demand, right? If I pull up my daily 200 moving average, right, it's sitting right here in confluence with this nice demand, right? You can see that's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, massive breakout, right? So we have the interaction in terms of structure and support on the actual level, right? And then the latest interaction was very positive, big move. So this level's a go. And we also have the 200 MA on the daily as confluence. So what I'm going to be watching here is I'm going to be watching a pullback into this 14,000 level for a bounce on NQ and QQQ, right? That's my first thing I'm going to be watching there. Number two, right? I do like this supply, but I want to be cautious, right? I do want to be cautious. I like this 14,450, 14,500, but it's a high risk, right? I would be open to taking a reject there, but it is high risk, very high risk. Upside, it's very simple, right? So the upside game plan with QQQ and NQ is if we get back above that 14,500, we can look for a long setup back into that 14,600 area, right? So if we break that supply, we just look for that retest, and we can adjust from there. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it with NQ. It much stronger in my opinion, but you guys can see why I want to take a reject here, right? Just look at this chart. This is beautiful. This was a major support, right? This 14,500, 14,600. Excuse me, I was saying it wrong. 14,600. Sorry. You guys can see here, right? This is a major support. One touch, 2, 3. Then we have our supply here, right? So what I would look for is a push back into this area. If we've seen weakness, I would be open to taking a reject, but obviously we would watch price action as we approach that area to make that decision. What's up, Claude? There's two things you can do. You can go to Instagram and you can join the subscription, which is half the price of the Patreon, and you get the same access to the stuff you had to the Patreon. So yes, there is no more Patreon, correct. But I do have my Instagram subscription, which is the half of the price of the Patreon, but you get the same benefits. Actually, a little bit more benefits. And after every live, so at the end of this live, I'll give 5 people 50% off for lifetime. So instead of $20, you pay $10 forever. And in my opinion, that's priceless. But yeah, that's what you can do. That's how you can rewatch them. You have full access to the Google Drive. But all right, let's get into QQQ and SPY here, right? QQQ, right? We just went over the NQ chart. We know what we're looking at here. The focus is pretty simple, right? The focus is pretty simple here. We're watching this major supply, which is going to be at 351, 352, right? That's the first things first. You guys can see here, this is a major supply, right? So first thing I'm going to be watching here on QQQ is I'm going to be watching for a push back into this 350, 352 area for a reject, right? That's my first watch. Number two, I'm going to be watching for a pullback into this 339, 340 area, which is also the daily 200 MA. I'm going to be watching that for a bounce, right? Those are my first two watches here on QQQ. Now, actual sentiment levels, right? You want to talk about line in the sand, confidence, right? Very simple. Upside, if you want to be confident, we need to get above 352. If we get above 352 on QQQ, I'll be happy opening a swing. We'll reclaim that daily structure, give us room back into that 355 area. Same thing I talked about on my watch list. Downside, very simple as well. We have to break this 339 level. I will not take a breakdown until we break that 339 level. If we get a clean break and hold, should be a nice move down into 344.40, and then we have that 330 level, right? Very simple here. Upside 352, downside 339. First watches are that demand and supply for a reject. If we happen to break it, we can flip long or short. Very simple. The reason I have an open-ended game plan this week is because of the amount of data and catalysts we have, right? So I want to be open-minded. I just don't want to be biased to one direction. I want to be open-minded, keep my game plan open-ended, and that's my approach this week. I don't want to get stuck, in a bullish or bearish mindset. That's one thing you don't want to do as a trader. You never have on a bias, because if you have a bias, you're likely going to be stuck to that bias and won't be open to trading the opposing direction if that opportunity would present itself. But personally, in my opinion, right, if you look at this chart here, I mean, it looks weak, right? It does, right? If you want to call it, we can say, hey, this is a bear flag, right? We have our flagpole, and we're just consolidating back into the supply here, and we look like we want a leg lower, right? That is my first. That's the first thing I see here, right? We have a drop, we have a little base, bear flag here. It looks like we want lower, right? But obviously things can change, so I want to stay open-minded when it comes to that chart, right? The demand, you guys can see where that derived from. This was his previous resistance, turn support. We also have that daily 200 MA, so that's why I want to watch that area for the demand. The supply, you guys can see why that is valid, right? You guys can see this level here. I don't only want to give you guys, hey, this is my setup, this is what I'm watching. I want you guys to realize why I'm trading it, right? The chart is why we trade. We're technical traders, right? We're trading based off of demand. We're trading based off of supply. And for those who don't know, that's how the market moves, Market moves structure to structure, supply to demand, demand to supply, support to resistance, resistance to support, right? That is how the market moves. It's not moving from here to there for no apparent reason, right? Our job is to identify these levels. Say, for example, we identify these two demands, right? We have this supply here, excuse me, and then we have this demand here, right? We've identified our opportunities, right? These are our opportunities. Supply, demand, right? So our job now is watch price action as we approach this demand, right? Watch price action as we approach this demand. What do we want to do? Is price action slowing down? Is momentum slowing down? Are we starting to wick off of this 339, 340? If so, I can enter a long position, keep a tight stop loss below. Or hey, maybe we're coming down super aggressive. All right, cool. I'm not going to take this bounce. I'm going to wait for the break and hold below, and then I can go short, right? So the first step in actually finding a setup is analyzing the chart, multi-time frame analysis, identifying your levels, planning your trade around those levels. The last step is watching price action, right? Watching price action as it approaches your level, as it interacts with your level. And the most important step when it comes to actually executing is defining your risk. What am I entering with? What position size am I going to use, right? What is my plan? What is my planned or multiple? What am I risking for? What am I potentially making? And obviously, once you defined all that, you press the buy button, you get into the trade. Your job is to manage that trade for the best of your ability, right? Once you press buy, there's two things you need to worry about. One is your stop loss, and two is your target, right? Anything in between is noise. You're watching price action to get you into that next target, which I call the stair-step system, right? That's all we're trying to do. I literally just broke down step by step of how to actually trade, right? It starts with that first initial process, which what we're doing now. We're finding a name in play. We're identifying the chart in terms of our multi-time frame analysis, finding our levels, planning our trade, etc., 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 right? And that is how you trade. Simple as that, right? It's a multi-step process, but the most important is obviously the last step that I just covered. But yeah, that's what I'm watching there with QQQ. In my opinion, I think we might see a little lower, but that's purely just off the fact that one, this level we broke at 350, 352 is massive, right? You guys can see this here. This is a huge level, so you know it all depends. But at the same time, I think we're a bit extended, right? I do think we need some relief. I mean, last week we seen a 10% move to the downside, right? In literally 2 weeks. We're down 10% in 2 weeks without any relief, really. So people are going to start taking profit on their shorts, and we'll see a nice relief bounce. Hopefully that we'll be in it off that 339, 340. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions as far about a level, a setup, whatever the case may be? Everybody good to go? Is everybody good to go? Alrighty, let's go on to SPY here. So, SPY. Very simple chart. Very simple chart this week. We've already looked at the entire time frame, so we know what's going on here. Like I said, ES is much weaker. SPY is much weaker. I mean, just look at this chart. This is a very weak chart, right? This is a very, very weak chart. I mean, look at this. We have our high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. Like this is dangerous, right? This is dangerous. Like if you look at the daily chart, we're getting a bit extended. But if you look at the weekly, looks like we're just beginning. If you look at the monthly, looks like we're just beginning. When I tell my midday, I told you guys like this is dangerous. You know, this is deadly. This could be much more. But out to me, this week with FOMC and Apple is going to be a big deciding factor in terms of whether we go higher or whether we continue lower. But this chart is very simple. We don't even need to go to a lower time frame. What I want you guys to pay attention to here. Fuck everything else. I don't care what Joe Blow said on Twitter. This is simple as it gets for this week in terms of SPY. All right? Very, very simple. Pull out your notepad, whatever you need, etc., etc. Get to it, right? 409, 410, right? 409, 410. You guys can see the significance of this area here, right? You guys can see how strong this demand is, right? This is a very, very big demand structure, whatever you want to call it, right? This is huge, 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 right? On the other end of that, we're trading below that big supply. This is the same levels I was talking about on ES, 4200, 4220, and that 4065, 4100, right? Same levels here on SPY. So, first things first, right? I'm going to be watching a bounce off this 409, 410, right? First thing first. Second, If we get strong and push back into 417, 418, I'm going to look to go short, right? That correlates to that 4,200 on SPX, 4,200 on ES. Now, what I'm going to talk about is the downside, right? This is nasty, right? This is a beautiful, beautiful setup, right? 409. If we break this 409 level, which you guys can see the significance of this level, this is a major, 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 major level, right? If we get weak and we break and hold below 409, I will 100% be confident shorting SPY down into this 404, 400 area. Now, once we approach this 400 area, this is where things change for me. I'm going to look to flip long around this 400 area for a relief bounce, right? And you guys know why. Number one, right? We're approaching this trend line support from COVID lows. You have the starting point, you have the connector. We are in confluence, one, with that major demand on ES, which is 4065. This is going to be 403 on SPY, 403, 400. This is the big area we're watching, all right? You guys can see the structure here. This is huge, absolutely huge, right? So we're going to watch that 409 level. 409 is very important, right? It holds 409. Look for that bounce back into 417, 418. 417, 418 is where we look for the reject. If we get weak below 409, go short down into that 403, 400. When we approach that 400 level, that's when we need to start exiting our short positions and look to flip long if we see that strength at that 400 level. That's going to be my game plan on SPY, all right? Very simple there. Nothing crazy. Just requires patience. But let's go a little bit more in depth here. So, as you guys can see here, this 417, 418 is crucial. We have the 100 MA on the weekly, we have the 50 MA on the weekly, and we have this previous support turn resistance, right? So this is a high confluence area. We look for a push back into 417, 418. We take a reject off that level, right? Now, let's say we get super strong, right, off of FOMC, or we get super strong off of Apple earnings. 418 is the line in the sand, all right? If we get above 418, that's the level on ES I was talking about, 4,200. If we get above 418, I will 100% be confident going long on SPY. We have room back into that 420 and all the way up in here to the 428, 425s, 425.50s. So that's the game plan here on SPY. The two big sentiment levels, 409 to the downside, 418 to the upside. Those are the two main levels that you guys need to keep an eye on, all right? But yeah, that's going to wrap up QQQ and SPY. Let's get into these individual names here. We're going to go over Meta, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia, and Netflix. Someone wanted me to check out UPS, so I'll check that out as well. But these are the main names that we're getting ready to go over. I'm going to kind of breeze through them. Reason being is because I want to cover something with you guys at the end, which is going to be the giveaway. All right, so I'm going to pick a few of you guys to give you guys some cash so you guys can have a great night tonight. And yeah. Also, I just want to say thank you to you guys for taking time out of your Sunday. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys are getting value from this. Hopefully you guys are taking notes, writing down the setups for this week. And yeah, man, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. So, first thing first. Netflix, right? Netflix, that demand still in play, right? We had a massive gap up off of earnings, and we have a huge demand here at 388, or really 389, 387, right? This is the big demand that we're watching here. You guys see this is an absolute huge level of demand here. So what I'm going to be watching is a pullback on Netflix and a 389, 387 for a bounce, all right? If Netflix gets strong off the open, we can watch this 400 level, all right? Get it clean, breaking hole below, above, we can look to go long into that 408, 410 area. And that's my game plan on Netflix. Very simple, right? Look for that bounce off that 389, 387, or above 400. Nvidia, this is one of my favorite setups this week, right? You guys can see how significant this level is, right? Just look at this demand here. 397, 400. This is huge. Huge, 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 huge. All right? Huge. So, my game plan, it's going to be two things, right? This is high risk. I didn't post it on my watch list, but I would be interested in a bounce here, right? If we started to form a little base off this area, I would be interested in a bounce, right? First thing first. Second, 412. If we get above 412, I think we'll see a nasty squeeze back into that 422.50. So I'm going to be watching this 412 for a break and hold and go long at that 422, 422.50. That 412 level, simply just wait for a nice convincing break, nice strong close above 412. If it has volume, take the break and hold. If it doesn't have volume, wait for the retest, rock out. All right? Downside, if we clear this big demand in structure, 397, right? We get a nice break and hold below, as I just stated. Then we can look to go short down into that 385 level. This is nothing but room to the downside. Same with the upside. This is a beautiful, beautiful chart. We can either trade it if the market gets strong, or we can trade it if the market gets weak. We just need one of these two levels to get triggered, right? So above 412 or below 397. Very simple here, right? This is a nice little drop base, and this can be a drop base rally, or this can be a drop base drop, right? You guys can see we have the drop. Now we consolidated forming the base, so we're looking for the drop base rally or drop base drop, all right? That's what we're watching there on Netflix. Tesla. I know a couple of you guys were messaging me about Tesla. I do like Tesla for the week ahead. Right now, we're forming kind of like a nice little triple bottom here, right? Tesla also has a nice little drop base. You can see the massive drop we had here, followed by a nice little base. I didn't post this on my watch list, but I don't think I did. But I'm watching a high-risk bounce on Tesla. So if Tesla comes down into this 200, 201 area, I would be interested in a bounce, okay? That's first. A little high risk, but I like it. But the main levels I'm watching here on Tesla, similar to NVIDIA, 215 to the upside. Tesla gets a clean break and hold above 215. I think we'll see a nice squeeze into 220 and that 222 area. That's my watch here on Tesla for the upside. Downside, very simple as well. Wait for that clean break and hold below 200. Look for those pullbacks. Go short down into 194.40, 190. Right? Very simple game plan here on Tesla. Upside lining us in, 215. Downside, 200. Very, very simple. Amazon. I like this a lot if the market gets strong. I truly believe Amazon wants to blow the top off. Right? I like this daily chart. Just had that earnings gap up. Very clear and defined level here at 130, which is also this hourly downtrend. Right? You guys can see this is downtrend trendline resistance. We also have Friday's highs at 130. Right? So Amazon's going to be very simple. We're going to look for a nice break and hold above 130 for us to go long into that 132.25, 135 area, right? Now, I also posted on my watch list, I'm watching for a high risk bounce off this 123, 124 area. This is also high risk, all right? But my favorite setup here is this 130. Wait for Amazon to clear that 130 level, which we can see is a clear defined resistance. If it clears that 130, we can look to take bullbacks for that move into 132, 134, all right? This should be a very nice move. This is essentially the first day move on earnings, so we're going to look to take that second day move in terms of the bounce of the breakout. I like Amazon a lot. I like this setup a lot. A lot. Google, one watch here. This was like a runner-up on my watch list, but you guys can see here how crucial this level is. We've been talking about it for almost a month now. 126, 127, right? You guys can see here, this is a massive level, right? You guys can see here. Once a resistance, turn support. Now it's back acting as resistance. So we're going to look for Google to push back into that 126, 127 for a reject. All right? That's what we'll be watching there. Now, I'm also watching a few other things, right? Google actually could have some value this week. I would watch this 115, 117 for a bounce off this daily 200 moving average. I do like that. I would keep an eye on Google for a bounce off that 117, 150. Also, let's say, for example, market gets extremely strong off of FOMC and Apple. Google has a nice gap fill, right? 128 to 134. So what I would do if I were you guys, draw a line here at the top of that candle, 128.30. Add an alert. Say crossing up. Major daily gap fill. And then message to myself would be check ASAP. Potential bullish gap fill. That way, if Google starts to fill this gap, I'll get a text to my phone and it'll say, hey, Google just started the gap fill. Go check it out. Right? We'll go check it out. Low. What are you talking about? 123. What do you mean? 123 on which stock? Purple candles. Oh, it's just it's a little indicator that I have. It just highlights crossovers. That's it. It's no signal or anything like that. It's just I hate having lines on my chart, like moving average lines. So I essentially have them in a form of candles. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Low. What are you talking about? 123. What 123? 123. Anybody have any questions this far? Anybody have anything? What's good, okay? Alright, let's go ahead and move on then. Mater. Let's talk about meta. Meta. Oh, Amazon? Okay, cool. I'll break it down for you in a second. Meta. Very simple game plan this week. Friday's highs, 300. Right? Market gets strong. I think this one will go. Right? Meta, breaking hold above 300. Adios. That's what I'll be watching here. Alright? 300 level on Meta. Now, someone asked me about that 123 level on Amazon. Let's go ahead and break it down. Look at this chart here. Right? 123, 124. What have we seen previously? Major support, resistance, support, right? So we know for a fact that this level is strong, right? Despite this earnings move, this is a beautiful demand, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different reasons to trust this level. What do I think about the 200 MA on the weekly for SPY? Let's check it out. Weekly, 200 MA. I think there's potential there. I mean, like I said, this chart's weak, man. This is a weak chart. Whether people want to believe it or not, this is a weak fucking chart. I mean, I broke it down to you guys already. This is weak, right? We have our high here, coming off those all-time highs. We have our all-time highs there. We have a lower high here. Number 2 lower high, number 3 lower high, paired with lower lows. I mean, in my opinion, this downside is just beginning. Right, this downside is just beginning. If you look at the monthly, downside's just beginning. Weekly, downside's just beginning. Daily, it's getting a bit extended, right? It's getting a bit extended here on the daily. You guys can see RSI starting to form a little bullish divergence, approaching a big demand on the daily. But those higher time frames, the weekly and monthly, they're weak. There's no taking that away from those charts, right? And this is a case where we have conflict. Right, so when we're utilizing our multi-time frame analysis, we're looking at the multiple time frames like weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly. We wanna find confluence. All right, we wanna find confluence. We wanna see that the time frames are on the same page. We wanna see the monthlies bullish. We wanna see the weeklies bullish. We wanna see the dailies bullish. We wanna see the hourlies bullish. Right, we want confluence. We want check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. In this case, monthly, weak, weekly, weak, daily. Yes, it's weak, but we're approaching a demand. So this is our first sign of conflict. Go to the hourly. Yes, we're weak, but we're approaching a big demand. Conflict, right? We want confluence through those multiple time frames. That adds confluence and confidence. So that's a big factor there. Just a tip for you guys. You want to notice, for one, that confluence going through those multiple time frames. But I can say this, guys. Do me a favor. Help me help you make money, right? If you don't do anything else in your life, take money that you can afford to lose, put it in an account that you're ready to buy long term, right? Take whatever money you can afford to lose, put it in an account, a brokerage, just keep it there. Wait for a long term ad. That is the easiest way to make money in this market. You damn near can't lose, right? Is Apple going to zero? No. Google going to zero? No. Tesla going to zero? Maybe. Probably not, right? Those big names, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Amazon, Meta, what else? Verizon, right? Not going anywhere. I have $90,000 parked in Verizon, right? Everybody remembers this. I bought Verizon over here off of earnings, right? I posted it for everybody. Everybody knows how big my position is in Verizon. I've held this position for literally 2-3 months. Right? I had multiple opportunities to take profit. I was up 12,000, 13,000, 14,000. I still haven't taken profit. Why? Because I think Verizon is a $40 plus stock, right? It's long term for a reason. Look at Verizon, for example. It's bouncing off of a trend line from 1984. This trend line starts in 1984, right? This is the starting point. Connector was in 2008. Here we are in 2023, bouncing off that same trend line, right? Go a little bit further here. Look at that candle we have off of this trend line. Nice little bullish pin bar, right? Verizon is a $40 stock, minimum. Not even to add anything to it, right? I get paid to hold them. They pay an extreme dividend, right? Double win for me. Sign me up. Verizon's going to zero? Absolutely not. You buy fundamentally sound companies on a dip, okay? And like I said, I was up literally $12,000, $15,000. Right now at this moment, let me go check my brokerage. Right now at this moment, I have 3,000 shares. I'm up $8,500, right this moment. Could I take that profit? I mean, I could, right? But am I in dire need for it? No, this is a long-term position, right? This is a long-term position. My average is 31.7, right? So my average is right around here, right? This is easily a $40 plus stock, in my opinion. Is it a good buy right here? I mean, yeah, you can add here, and then if it comes back down, you can add more. But, you know, it's long-term is long-term for a reason. Hold it, forget about it. Angelica, I'm talking about equity. Shares. Like, I'm actually buying shares of the company. AR, just tag me in the Discord, shoot me a DM, Telegram. If you have my number, text me. Well, I got a new number, so if yeah, just shoot me a DM on Discord. Yeah, DM on Discord. I don't have many messages right now, so if you send it, I'll be able to see it. Yeah, Verizon has a huge dividend. AMD, we have earnings this week. Starbucks as well. I do like both of those, if that's what you're referring to. AMD and Starbucks I like for earnings. But, yeah, Jorge, it's the computer, man. My computer is close to my mic. I actually got to move it around. But, yeah, that's going to conclude the watch list. Let's go ahead and hop into this giveaway, y'all. What we're going to do, right? What we're going to do. 5 people, $100, right? So it's going to be a $500 giveaway. Very simple entries. I'm going to give you guys the way to enter right now. Give me 1 second here. Let's switch this up. Side note, if you guys have any questions, whether it's trading, entrepreneurship, business, whatever it may be, feel free to ask it. Now's the time to ask it. UPS, that's right. Sorry, someone asked me. We'll do UPS out. Check out. Holy shit. UPS is dead. This is one I would add, right? Is UPS going to zero anytime soon? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. What I would do with UPS is I would add some tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow morning, I would add some on UPS, right? You guys can see here. All you do is buy big technical demand levels, right? So we're retesting this previous monthly resistance turn support. So I'm gonna add here. Mark my words. Monday, I promise you. I'll post my my orders. I'll post my trade recap, the orders. My first add is gonna be here at 135. I'm gonna add again down here at 125. Right? That's my game plan here. I'm gonna add UPS tomorrow. Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna add it tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, pre-market. You can buy shares, right? My first add is going to be at 135, which is this previous all-time high resistance. My second add is going to be at 125. If it comes down to 125, I'll probably buy some leaps. That's what I'll do. If it comes down to 125, I'll buy some leaps. But, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it. Looks good. Look at the daily. All right, let me show you guys something. RSI is similar to a chart, right? What has happened? Let's look at this for a second. What has happened every time UPS has came down to this 15, 16 on the RSI. Y'all let me know. What has happened every single time? And you let me know, and also let me know, do you think this time's going to be any different? Right? I mean, we're sitting at demand. We have multiple confluences. It's very simple here, right? It's very simple. Fundamentally sound company. You buy it on a dip, rock out. Right? I'm pretty sure we have a nice retracement here too. Which we do. We have the 0.5 retracement. Right? I like it. Looks good. I'm gonna add some tomorrow. Add again at 125. All right. What else? Giveaway. How do you get my number? If you're a Minty, you could shoot me a DM. I don't really like to give it out unless it's like an emergency, but yeah. Austin, I mean, it's gonna bounce. Look at UPS. Look at it, right? Look at this. Look at this chart. There's no much. People are gonna take profit, right? Right now, we're about to start filling this gap. Right? We have a gap from 135 to 125. It's not logical anymore. People are gonna take profit on their short positions, right? It's just not logical to hold any longer, right? The stock can't go down forever. It can't. It has to bounce, and it usually bounces at those big key technical levels, right? That's all we're doing. Buying fundamentally sound companies on a dip for long term, right? This is a long term scenario I'm talking about. What was I doing? What was I doing? Oh, giveaway. If I was a 20-year-old living at home with 30K saved up with no expenses, what would I do? 20-year-old at home, 30K saved up, no expenses. First thing I would do is I would take a couple dollars, and if you're really serious about trading, I would invest in education. First things first. I would stop trading right now. I would not take another trade. I would invest in education in whatever aspect. If you want to do e-commerce, go find someone that's reputable for an e-commerce course. Go find someone reputable for real estate. Whatever you're trying to do, I would invest in your education for that. I would give it 110%. So whatever you're looking to do, your niche, say for example, if you want to do trading, right? So if you're interested in learning how to trade, I would take a portion of that money, nothing too crazy, right? Invest it in my education. I'd stop trading, just focus on learning, developing, and I would obviously live below my means with that 30K. I would invest in my education first and foremost. Take the course, take the mentorship, whatever I'm trying to do. Then I would fund my account with 2,500 or 5K. And I would go from there. I would use the other 20. That would probably cost, say for example, you take my mentorship, it's 3K. All right, you have 27K left. I would take the 27K. I might start like a Shopify store, or depends on how much work you want to do. You could start a lawn care business with 30K, right? Walk behind's like 1,500. Zero turn if you want to be fancy, it's like 2,500. You can get a whole full lawn care everything for less than 30K. Besides obviously a truck, but. Or if you want to be super conservative, start a Webull account, put the 30K in it, you're going to earn 5% daily. So, I mean, off of 30K, you can literally earn, what's that, 30K, $5-6 a day, something like that. That's amazing. Yeah, that's what I would do personally. I would invest in my education, give it 110%, save. That's what I would do. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, put it in a high yield. Yeah, there you go. But let's see. All right, giveaway. So Very simple here. Very simple. Same one as the last one. Oh, this is a perfect time. So, let's go here and do this. Give me 1 second. I'm getting this set up for you guys. I'm going to put a hot word. Alright? It's going to be a hot word. Hot word, hot word, hot word. The hot word. Alright? You don't have to do it right now. You don't have to do it right this second. You can do it when the live ends. It's going to take me about 30 minutes to get to it. So, since we're talking about money, this is the post. Trapped in the rat race. So, go to my Instagram post. Trapped in the rat race. Click this one right here. Go to the comments. Type in freedom. That's it. Freedom. Post it. Capital F. Freedom. You don't have to do it right this second. We can do it once we get off the live. But freedom. Just go to the Trapped in the Rat Race. Type in freedom. Boom. You're good to go. That's it. Number 2. Yes, please. DM. Let's see what else we got. Hey, if you put that money, that's what. I mean, Renegade. I mean, yeah, that's. Why wait till you're 50 though? That's always a safe route, right? It's always a safe route. It's always a safe route. Safe route. But yeah, guys. Go ahead and wrap it up here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask it. I'm more than happy to help. Like I said, trading, business, entrepreneurship, whatever the case may be, feel free to ask it. I promise. I'll always answer. Whatever it may be. And once again, guys, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you guys showing up, especially on Sunday at 9 p.m. I really appreciate your guys' time. I do. Thank you for coming to kick it with me. Hope you guys got some value from this. And, yeah, man. Hershey, let me see. I think it looks good. I have Hershey shares, but it's very simple here. Right? 183. 183. Right? Very simple here. You guys can see the significance of this level. Buy Hershey long term, hold it. Keep a stop loss below 180. This is actually beautiful. I talked about this like 2 weeks ago. This is the level I was watching, 183. 180 tree. Yep, 183. 183. Yep. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night here. Once again, I appreciate you guys' time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, man. Hit that like button on your way out. If you really want to show love, tag me on Instagram. But yeah, keep your eyes out in the morning for the updated watch list. As always, I'm about to do you guys a favor right now. Next 5 people that join the Instagram subscription get a half off forever. So if you join right now, I'm about to turn it on as we speak. Go to my profile, click subscription. You will have access for life, 50% off. Right now. No, I'm about to post it. Oh wow, someone's already claimed it. Someone already claimed one. Y'all are fast. Y'all are fast. Y'all are fast. Yep, I always announce them on my Instagram. Yep. I just turned it on. You guys can see the time. That's 10:01. Next 5, 50% off lifetime discount. So there's 4 people left. Matter of fact, I'm gonna extend it. So I'll match it. Next 10 people. 10? How much is that? 10's 100? Yeah, I'm gonna do 10. Next 10 people. Shoot me a DM, and I'll manually do it. So, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Also, if you're interested in the mentorship, last one of 2023, be sure to head to my website and sign up ASAP. 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 If you're in the Instagram fam channel, you get a discount. A solid ass discount, to be honest with you. I don't do that. I don't do discounts. I respect my time. I respect my education, my knowledge. But yeah. Nice. Y'all got in? Cool. Alrighty, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Once again, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys early in the morning. I'll do a pre-market webinar this week. Maybe after FOMC we'll do that. Or FOMC day we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do that week. Yeah, I'll do a pre-market webinar this week. Just to make up as well. So, yeah, guys. Hope you guys have a great